Hello everyone, Skippy here, and welcome to One Piece episode 991. Directed by Yusuke Suzuki from Shigeyasu Yamauchi's board and supervised by Toshio Deguchi and Keita Saito. While it doesn't look as animated as episodes that came before it, the mostly non-action board from Shigeyasu Yamauchi so surprisingly soon after 986 will give us a nice more normal offering from him when it comes to dialogue that'll hopefully be free of some of the Appu fight's pitfalls, as the episode looks solid through and through and Yusuke Suzuki seems to be putting in some work aesthetically when it comes down to it. And with the Saito and Deguchi AD combo back in full force again, both ends of the episode should be done competently while corrections wise for both dialogue and action as we approach Yamato's second major reveal. So will episode 991 manage to put what problems 990 had behind it all? Time to unmask and find out. This episode covers the first 5 pages of chapter 983 and the first 4 or so pages of chapter 984. And now it becomes increasingly clear why last week had pacing issues because, as I alluded to last week, most of the ancillary battles going on within Onigashima that they could have covered last week were all focused on in this episode and even extended a fair bit beyond the original pages, like showing Zoro actually have a fight, as well as the finale of Usopp and Chopper spat with Big Mom, and stuff like Robin, Jinbei, and the rest of the samurai making it to the show floor and seeing Momo's execution. So knowing now just how far they were going with this stuff and how much this episode truly relied on this specific content, because it helps it move along rather well in the grand scheme of things, it's a little more understandable why my issues with 990 weren't as easily fixable as I thought they were, and either way I think the combo of Yamauchi and Suzuki doesn't enough justice in terms of execution in regards to how it plays out and is organized properly with stuff like music and voice direction, which hits the right notes but also lets things be silent sometimes. Sure, some may be a little confused as to why they're holding off on showing Yamato's face fully till next episode, and how they're revealing their connection to Ace a little earlier to the audience, but not to Luffy, even going as far as to literally lift a panel from a later chapter in this arc. But like I said, it's just to the audience and not to Luffy, and Yamato's face within that section isn't any more noticeable than it is in the current version of the opening, so it doesn't really change much of what is already a solid adaptation experience. Last time, while there was really good sections of Yamauchi's board, it felt a bit odd at places with certain batches of shots that felt really claustrophobic and a bit all over the place. And while there's still some of that here with some of the action, which makes me think it's just more a thing with him when it comes to that, the angles Yamauchi presents within them are still super cool and interesting to look at point of view wise, and it's really what he does with everything else that I like more. Peppering the more conversation heavy scenes with solid angles but also massive amounts of color dripping from head to toe that helps make scenes like Big Mom making new homies really pop, and changing the color of Zoro's slashes to the mooks from red to white, which isn't censorship. It's stylish, it's impactful, and completely distracts from how claustrophobic the action may feel at points, and even then I feel like he still manages to produce some crazy cool and hard-hitting compositions within them that I adore, allowing Suzuki a lot to play around with compositing wise to bring it all to life, right next to the pretty solid set of corrections from Deguchi and Saito, with Deguchi's in particular being a lot more polished than they were last time, wrapping itself up with an okay but still solid all the same scene from Yoshikazu Tomita that helps end this episode off on a high note in conjunction with the board. Sure, like I said, some may be disappointed with the fact that we have to wait another week for the major reveal of Yamato's face, and I think the preview could have made that a little more obvious that it wasn't in this episode. But this was a much more solid effort to me than 986 was on the whole, despite how I feel about that episode, and I hope this won't be the last we see of the Yamauchi and Suzuki combo because it's going pretty well. And while next week we have an outsourced episode on our hands for Magic Bus and Kawanuri again with episode 992, director Toshihiro Maeda is actually being given a rather incredible board to work with, as Yutaka Nakashima and surprisingly former co-series director Ayako Maki, likely finding time in between whatever she's working on now, are giving this episode a seemingly impactful and stylish board that looks like it'll give this entry that won't stand up to the in-house ones visually some support on the directorial end to allow the big moments present within it their due justice, so I'm a bit more excited than usual for an outsourced effort this time. Anyways guys, that's it for now. I'm Skippy, and man, it was cool hearing Furukawa as Ace again.